I was off social media for 5 years, and here's what I learned. So, I was a very successful content creator, and I had an Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and I did vape tricks. I had hundreds of millions of views to billions of views, and I'm not just saying that to brag, but I'm really saying it to bring me to my next point. What I learned from social media is nothing is ever guaranteed. And the reason I say that is because I didn't voluntarily leave YouTube or Instagram and stop making content out of my own decision. Um, that's gonna be on a whole another video, but I was basically forced off of YouTube. So when I was making what I was making and getting the views I was getting in my head, I knew that it wouldn't last forever, but I didn't think it would come as fast as it did. But my point is, nothing in life lasts forever and nothing is guaranteed, so you have to adapt to all situations as fast as you can. At the time when I couldn't post anymore on Instagram and YouTube, I was really depressed and anxious because I didn't know what was to come because that was my job, that was my income, that was my creativity outlet, and it was a really confusing time as to like what to do next. But I realized the hardest times in life bring you to the best times in your life. And adapting to situations really brings clarity to what matters in your life. So in the title of this video, I say I was off social media for 5 years, but what I really mean by that is I only use social media to learn. Like, it's virtually impossible to be off all forms of social media, but the only times I ever used it was to learn. Um, which later in the video I'll go into, like hobbies and stuff like that. But I was basically never on Instagram and I never consumed short form content like on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or any of that. And I was barely even on Instagram to begin with. I basically cut down my screen time from I would say I cut it down like 70%. And in this video, I want to share what I learned while being off of social media. Listen, social media is an addiction, and no matter what stage or what point in your life or what age or what you're interested in, you're going to be addicted to something in your life. And that can be literally as simple as sugar or fast food or something worse like drugs or gambling. So I think the biggest thing for me was focusing that bad addiction into something that I was obsessed but not addicted to. I was obsessed with it. And for me, that was, I wanted to build hobbies and lifestyles that benefited me in the future, physically or mentally or both. And I wanted to have something that I could stick with going into the future. So for me, it was going to the gym, and I actually gained 50 pounds from going to the gym in like a year and a half or two. And before I went to the gym, I'm 6'4", so I was 135 pounds, which is it's really skinny, and it wasn't healthy at all. Especially when I was making the YouTube videos, I wasn't in the best state of mind or physical health. So I was like, I got to change this. And I started going to the gym, and it was so impossible at first, but eventually, like, I started to really like it because you feel like moving forward in the day, you feel like you did something that was actually beneficial, and it makes you feel like good. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of runner's high, but when you go on a run and after, you feel like so euphoric. And so for me, that was the gym. And the other hobby I got into was growing plants. So if you can see behind me, there's a bunch of orchids that I learned to grow because plants have always interested me, but like I saw it as almost a generational thing. Like, if I grow these plants, not only will it be rewarding to me, but it'll be huge in the future. And it's something that really taught me patience, and over a lot of time you see a lot of progress. So to me, the gym and growing plants was not only good for my mental health, like plants teaching me patience and the gym teaching me discipline and consistency always wins, it also was something that I feel like I could do for the rest of my life to physically and mentally benefit myself. But it is really hard to be off social media. I'm not going to lie. Like when I first stopped posting, it was impossible. Like all I wanted to do was scroll. And talking about turning a bad addiction into a good addiction, at first I got really into video games. And because I was posting on social media for so long, like since like I was around since Vine, and a lot of you probably don't even know what that is, but Vine was pretty much the, I guess, original TikTok. And so I was posting on Vine, and it was really cool because I was in college at the time, and my friends were like, "Yo, that's so cool, and you're doing these tricks," and it was awesome. And then it went to Instagram and YouTube, and now it's TikTok. But my point is, I was around for pretty much the entire building of like social media platforms. Like even when I was young, I had a YouTube or not a YouTube, a MySpace page, and then I went to Facebook, and that's when I was like a kid. So I understand it's like, with that being said, I understand it's really hard to be off of social media because it's so ingrained into your life and your brain that like, oh, whenever I'm bored, I'm just going to scroll. But if you can figure out what interests you, for you, it might be, I don't know, like a big thing now is like crocheting or plants or going to the gym, whatever you can do to physically, mentally, or financially better yourself, you should really try to spend your time working on that rather than scrolling on shorts. And short form content is like insane now. Like it's huge and it's everywhere, and it's so easy to, I guess, procrastinate on what you really need to do and go straight to the phone. Like it's so simple, and getting into like a hobby that takes time and patience to learn is a lot harder, and it takes a lot more dedication than just sitting on your phone scrolling. But the reason you're on your phone starts with boredom. So like think about before phones. Before phones, when you were bored, you went and people worked out, they cooked, they, I don't know, it could be literally anything, but those are just like two examples of something that is a lifelong skill that brings you happiness, but also mentally betters yourself. And so when you're benefiting yourself and you're taking out the aspect of just mindless scrolling, brain rot, short form content, you're going to pursue something that matters to you and benefits you. So why, like when you look at it, like it sounds very straightforward and easy to think of when you're hearing this video, but like when you're actually on the app, it's crazy. You don't think about anything but scrolling. And that's why I was like, you know what? I have to take a break from this. I can't even post anyway. I'm going to do other things that I need to do, because at the time I was really unhealthy, and I was like, dude, I got to change my life. This is not working. And I'm going to have a whole, what's it called? Transformation video on like from start to finish when I was posting on social media to what I am now. And that'll probably be my next video, which I'll upload like within the next few weeks. But yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. Remember how I said being in a tough position brings you clarity to what actually matters in your life? It also brings you closer with people in your life. Instead of just living your life online, you actually like form stronger bonds with friends and family. Like I've always been a huge family person, and I'm really close to my family, but when I was off social media, I really realized how much time I'm wasting on the apps. And not only does it bring you closer to other people, you're also building yourself. Like you're not consumed and distracted all the time. So like if you're benefiting yourself, one, and two, you're closer with family and friends, like I feel like that's just the biggest win-win you could possibly get in life. But it also taught me self-improvement. Like I stopped smoking weed. I was using weed all day every day for over 10 years, and it was a bad feeling, and I wanted to change it. And I feel like once you see how normalized it is on social media and through any form of content, like you just instantly want to keep doing it because you're being told it's okay. And for me, I didn't want to do it anymore. I felt like it was hindering so many things in my life that I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop all the bad stuff that I'm doing and focus on how to become a better version of myself. And really, I wanted to value my physical and mental health. Like when I was posting all the time, my mental was in such a bad spot, and my physical health was probably even worse. And I realized that the only thing that literally matters in your life is your health. And if you don't focus on your health, you're going to have major problems in the future. And if you're eating bad and you could be eating better, like it's going to really hit you hard down the line. So I was like, you know what? I'm 20. Let me fix this now and see where things go. Because I don't want to be like crippled with like, you know, being sick. If I can prevent it, I'm going to, like, with better lifestyle choices, I'm going to do that. And it's potentially increasing your lifespan. That's just perfect. So that's why I got into it, and I really enjoy it. And now I go 5 times a week for like an hour, and I just lift weights. I don't do cardio. I want to get into cardio, but that's another goal for 2025. And for right now, I'm pretty happy with how the results are paying off. But I realize if you don't do these things in life, like eating better, going to the gym, valuing your health, your heart health, your brain health, all these things, you're going to run into a problem in the future. And to me, life is all about future planning. So if you're not planning for the future, it's going to hit you hard. But besides forming the hobbies and going to the gym and getting into like plant care, it also like made me connect with nature like a lot. Like I would go on hikes all the time. I still go on walks and hikes all the time. And I read a study. I'm going to find it real quick and I'm going to read it to you. All right, so I'm going to read this study to you now about trees with your mental health. Spending time around trees and looking at trees reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and improves mood. Numerous studies show that both exercising in forests and simply sitting looking at trees reduce blood pressure as well as stress. This is from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. I can tell you for sure, if you're going out in nature and getting outside more, you really feel just better. Like if you think about back in the day, like Neanderthals or however long we've been here, like we were never inside and we were never on electronics. We didn't have that. So when you pair being inside with electronics, like I feel like that is just the perfect recipe for disaster. And we are pack animals. So when you're indoors and you're on your phone, you're forced to be isolated. So you're forcefully isolating yourself, which is definitely not good for your mental health. And I feel like I have to like read more about it, but I'm almost positive that being alone and scrolling on your phone, comparing yourself to people nonstop and seeing, oh, this guy's doing this girl's doing this, and just comparing all the time to people who are like perfect or whatever they show you on their social media, that definitely leads to anxiety and depression. I don't think all social media is bad. Like I think social media can be used for really good things. Like if you watch podcasts on certain topics that you find very interesting or interest you, you can learn a lot through that. Or if you use YouTube to, I don't know, learn about certain subjects, it can be used for really good things. But I think once you get trapped in this like mindless scrolling and comparing nonstop and isolating yourself, I think that's when it's really bad. And I feel like, unfortunately, especially the younger generation, but everyone is affected by that. My concluding point for this video is if you're mindlessly scrolling on social media all day, it's for a reason, and that reason is boredom. And so when you're scrolling out of boredom, what are you doing? You're procrastinating goals and dreams of yours that are more important, but now you're spending the 5 hours that you could have spent on the gym for the week on social media, and they literally don't benefit you at all. In fact, I would say that scrolling on social media, when have you ever learned anything important from a short? I mean, maybe it's like 1 out of 1,000 videos, but 99% of the time that you're scrolling through shorts on YouTube or TikTok, whatever it is, you're not learning anything and you're not benefiting yourself mentally, physically, financially. You're not gaining knowledge. You're literally just wasting time. And at the same time, you're wasting time, all of the people you're watching are making insane moves in their life. So again, you need to find hobbies that benefit you, and you also need to set goals for yourself. I feel like I've mastered, for at least for myself, like going to the gym and plant care, and now I want to get into cardio, cooking, and reading, because all three of those things I'm very interested in, and I feel like it'll benefit me a lot. I feel like nowadays everything is so easy. Like everything is shipped to your door. All food is shipped to your door. You can mindlessly scroll for any information you want. And I feel like that's what's made people not want to learn, is by getting access to everything so instantaneously. And so my goal throughout this whole journey was replacing instant gratification with delayed gratification. And that has benefited me massively. It's taught me a lot about life, and it's also taught me how to use your time, because time is so precious. And guys, remember this is very key. The longer you wait to do anything that you want to do, the harder it is to start. Remember that discipline starts with something small and turns into something so unbelievable that it's 100% worth it. But anyways, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I look forward to this channel because I want to make this channel about something that I would be interested in myself and interested in watching. So I'm really excited to start this channel. I plan to upload regularly, and thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time.